Richard in Los Angeles. Hi, Richard.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I have a problem, of course. That's why I'm calling.
Oh, all right.
Relatively, no, not relatively, fairly small fonts on various websites.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out how to make them bigger.
It's a pet peeve because websites these days are designed by kids. It's kids in their 20s. And they have perfect vision, right? Right? You young people, why I oughta. And they design websites not only with tiny fonts to mock their elders, but with low contrast, too.
True.
Right? Lately, you're seeing a lot of gray text on gray backgrounds and stuff, and it's like, who designs this? And by the way, we're not alone. There's I've talked to many designers who say, yeah, this is a terrible, despicable trend, and not all of them are over 40. However, if you want people over 40 to read your website, please consider us, will you? We're people too, you know.
Anything can be done?
Yes. First, there are a number of things that can be done. Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Okay. So almost all browsers will let you just enlarge text arbitrarily, unless the designer has been really nefarious and locked it down, which they can do. But you should just try. In most browsers, Control+ will increase the size of the font. In fact, I do that all the time. Partly because I show screens on television on our podcasts, and you can't read those small fonts, so I make them really big. And so Control+, or look it up. It'll be in your browser. It'll be in one of the menus, probably the View menu, and you'll see increase font size, and they'll have a keystroke combination next to it. So if I'm wrong or using a different browser, that will increase it, and similarly, Control- will reduce it. And on many browsers, Control-0 goes back to normal, what the designer specified. So that's one solution. That's kind of the ad hoc solution I use frequently. You can, if you want to get fancy, you'll notice in your browser settings, many browsers allow you to define either a minimum font size, so check and see, where you can say, no, I don't want to see anything smaller than 9-point type, which is pretty small. You could turn that into 12 or 14. You could also have a default normal. There's the way that web pages work. They have a normal style sheet, and you can change this is an advanced way to do it. Change the style sheet to reflect your interest. You can actually use that to get rid of low contrast and things like that. You should also check the accessibility settings of your operating system. Windows in the control panel, Apple in the system preference panes. That is another place to go to improve accessibility. It means improve the accessibility of your screen or of your computer. And among other things, you can have high contrast forced on the whole screen. You can have the font size change. The problem with those changes, of course, they're more than just the browser. They're global to everything on the screen. And another thing that I often do is choose a different resolution on the screen. So as we get older, one of the things we'd like to do is have everything on the screen be a little bit bigger, not just on the browser, but the text under the icons, maybe even the icons themselves. As we get bigger screens, those seem to get smaller because the resolutions are going up. And a high resolution means a smaller font, a smaller icon. So you can change the resolution in your display. It used to be in Windows you could change the DPI, dots per inch, or actually they called it dot pitch, not DPI, but your dot pitch. There's now a slider in Windows 10. They made it a little bit less easy or less granular, but there is a slider that can make fonts bigger. That will do it globally for the operating system as well.
And where would I get that slider?
It's in the display control panel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try all of the above.
Yeah, you can. So every time I get a new system, I will customize it to be easier on my old eyes. Right.
Okay, this has been so annoying, and I just bought a new monitor.
Well, part of this is because you got a new monitor. And it's a beautiful, I bet, high-res monitor, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and of course, now that it's high-res, that means smaller dots, so everything is harder to read. My friend Kevin Marks, who is a web designer, he's also a person of a certain age. He's over 40. You know, he's kind of legendary. He's worked at Google. He's worked at Apple. He worked at British Telecom. He worked at the BBC. He's a legend in the business. He's a brilliant web standards guy. And he's written an article, he put it out last year, called How the Web Became Unreadable. I'll put a link to this in the show notes. I thought my eyesight was beginning to go. Turns out I'm suffering from design. And he bemoans this, and I think this article was heard by a lot of people. He kind of influenced designers a little bit, and I'm glad. I think this needs to be brought up again and again and again because the web has become unreadable, for not just for older people, for everybody.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure people half my age, and I'm 80, would have trouble with this.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think this could be solved if people just paid a little more attention. When you design a website, I presume the point of the website is that people come visit it. You don't want to design a website that leaves people out.
And people come visit it to read it.
Right. Well, I hope.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for the call. I'm glad. You got me on another high horse. I could go on about this one. And the problem is when you, Richard, and I talk about this, people go, "Oh, well, they're old timers." You know, especially those 20-something engineers. Oh, they're old timers. You know, just get some reading glasses, pops. No, no. It's not just us. It's everybody. We all are struggling with your silly little low-contrast website and your tiny little fonts. Stop being such a designer. Start thinking about usability. A good designer focuses on usability. This is a battle that has to be fought over and over again, I'm sorry to say. Remember when there's a great computer technology magazine, I love it, called Wired. And when it first came out, maybe 20 years ago, the guys who founded it, the Rosettos and Louis Rosetto and the designers thought, let's make it super hip. And they made it unreadable. It was like yellow text on lime green backgrounds and, you know, dark purple back pages with black text, but it was part of the ethos. It's like, yeah, we know you can't read it. Isn't that cool? Wired is much more legible now that Condé Nast owns it. You can read it.